So I think I've talked about the Kings twice this season. Once to say they were good about 2 months ago, and maybe about a month ago to talk about Marvin Bagley. Let's talk about the overall future of this team. Whether you think they're going to make the playoffs this year or not, being kind of irrelevant for this particular topic. What is the ceiling of some of these players between, I would say, mainly De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Bogdan, and Marvin Bagley being like the big four? Willie Cauley-Stein, not to say he hasn't been better this year, he has, but I don't think the book is totally written on him. And depending on how much it's going to cost to keep him, well, I could picture the Kings not being all the way there on that one. So that's me mentioning Willie Cauley-Stein for you. So you got to start with De'Aaron Fox. Can he be one of the best point guards in the league? I think so. I think his jump this second season has been good enough all across the board. His efficiency is so much better than it was a year ago. He's making threes occasionally off the dribble. They're not all wide open. Sometimes they are contested. While his free throws are basically the same percentage, he's shooting a lot more of them. Some of that is because he's just a little better at attacking defenses. Also, Zach Randolph is not in his way like he was last year. The spacing is a lot better with Bjelica. Everybody has talked about this, of course. And with Fox, I mean, is there a chance that by the age of 24 years old, he's going to be averaging, I don't know, like 21 points and 10 assists, and maybe his rebounds will creep up there as well, and he could be one of the best defenders in the league? I mean, you put all that together, and that's probably a top 15 player. And I think it sounds a lot like what John Wall was for a stretch of his career before injuries and being out of shape and all that. So maybe De'Aaron Fox is setting up to be the new John Wall, but the Wall who's probably a little better from three and also is in shape all the time, which means his ceiling could be even a little higher than that. So the Kings may have nailed it and then some on that draft pick. I guess the only fear with Fox is if the shooting is not actually this good, and if he can't be the leading guy for an offense just because he's not a good enough scorer. And not to say that that fear would imply that he can't lead a good offense, but perhaps he would need another big-time scorer in order to have one of the top 6 or 7 offenses in the league, I guess. Luckily for him, it seems he may have that in Buddy Hield, because, hell, you could say Buddy Hield is setting up to be the next Bradley Beal. Hield, sure, he's like 6'4", which is maybe a little shorter than the ideal 2-guard, but one, he's fit in really well with this play as fast as possible Kings thing, and he's really good at stopping on a dime on three-pointers in the fast break. And I think it's safe to say he has inserted himself as one of the best shooters in the NBA. And the second thing, after I say a whole bunch of things, is he's a pretty big dude. I mean, he's listed at 214. I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually like 222 or something, because it doesn't seem like he has much trouble mixing it up with some of the bigger wings in the NBA. And it's going really well for him. I mean, in the month of December, Hield is averaging 22 points, about 5 boards, 2 assists. The efficiency is really good. He's shooting 9 threes a game, or he shot that in December. I forget, we're in 2019 now. So Hield's legit, and I think with Hield and Fox as your main 2 dudes, it says a lot of good things about this Kings team moving forward. The Buddy Hield trade for DeMarcus Cousins, Hield and other things, was criticized, and it seems that the Kings, they kind of nailed that one, so good for them. I know he is a year older than we all thought he was. I think it's fine. He's 26. He's going to be good until he's like 34, so whatever. And then you have Bogdan, who can make shots and play off the ball and hit some really gutsy buzzer beaters and all that. And, I mean, that's a pretty damn good offensive foundation with those 3. I mean, the Kings' offense is 15th in the league right now. Even with all the praise I can give to those 3, I think a lot of that has been Bjelica. But even so, these three are good, and when those three are playing together, Bogdanovich, Hield, and Fox, the net rating is +8. And I think that's something we could see long-term because all three of these dudes can make shots. And sure, Fox is going to be the one with the ball in his hands most of the time, but I think Hield and Bogdan are totally fine with playing off the ball. So the flow of those three makes sense. So I think as long as the roster makes sense around those three, then this team's offense should always be pretty good. I mean, Bielitsa is going to be here until after 2021, so that's a good sign for you. If we talk about Bagley, I mean, I don't want to go into Bagley too much because I had a whole video about the guy. I like Bagley a lot. I'm sure he's got to get better at reading defenses and his jump shot and playing defense himself and all that. Just all the things that can allow you to actually win basketball games. But I mean, his personal advanced numbers are not as bad as you would think for a rookie. It seems like the Kings are able to still be a respectable team when he's out there, and some of it is because the lineups he plays in are not the best. I've said all this before. If he played more with like Hield and De'Aaron Fox and all that, like those numbers are still pretty all right. So yeah, I'm in on Bagley. Outside of those guys, I mean, between the Shumperts and the Justin Jacksons and Troy Williams and Frank Masons and Ben McLemore is apparently still on this team, I don't really know. But for the guys who play a lot, I feel pretty good about them. I guess we can move on to defense now. Look, I mean, for as uncertain as I am about Willie Cauley-Stein, his defensive rating of like 107 is not bad. Sure, the Kings have pretty much never been a good defensive team with him there, but I don't think that's all his fault because it's not like the team has been that good for a while. So there is a chance he could be a defender. I mean, that was supposed to be his thing coming out of college, as being this super athletic dude who could switch all over the place. And I mean, here's what I think about Stein. I think if he's my backup, I love having him there. If he's my starter, I feel kind of about it. And he's playing 29 minutes a game for them, and he's the best center that they have, unless Bagley proves that he should be the full-time 5, and I think as of right now, he should not be that. So I don't know what the answer really is with Willie Cauley-Stein. I think there are better defensive options out there, but I think he has shown enough to perhaps give him an extension on his deal. I wouldn't go nuts with the salary or the years, but I think he is deserving of more time because, I mean, this type of 5 is what you want, right? Because if he can be their version of Clint Capella, where he can switch all over and protect the rim, I don't know if he's going to be a big-time rim protector. I mean, he's never been a big block shots guy, but if he can at least be effective defensively, then you got yourself a hell of a guy who will probably end up on a decently affordable contract. I don't think it's going to be a huge overpay in order to keep the guy, unless some other team just loves the idea of him way too much. But if I had to guess, I do think Willie will be here next year, unless the Kings really want to go for a home run in free agency, because they're going to have a lot of cap space. They only got $50 million committed, and the only guys they got to think about re-signing are Willie and Shumpert, so I don't know. It is still the Sacramento Kings we're talking about, so I think this front office is always liable to do something weird. I mean, we remember the Zach LaVine bid this offseason, when they've already got De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, and Bogdanovich, so, you know, who really knows at the end of the day, but they look pretty good. I think if they shore up the defense, then they could be a regular playoff team, and from then on, it's a matter of where is De'Aaron Fox and where is Hield and Bagley in terms of their ceilings, and yeah, things to feel good about in Sacktown. I'm going to stretch this video to 10 minutes, so I guess I'm going to remind anyone who may not know, I do have an Instagram that you can find on the top comment of this video, or in the description or whatever. I've got like 6 posts, and I'll probably make some more. We'll do stuff like MVP candidates, most improved players, that sort of thing. Been considering even making little like 30-second videos, but I probably won't end up doing that. Anyway, we got to 10 minutes. Congrats, everybody.